Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, thanks again for welcoming me here and giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. So my name is Sylvain Chague. So I work at Artanim, which is a research institute located in Geneva in Switzerland. We are mainly specialized in motion capture technologies in a large sense. And today I'm going to talk about a project that we called Real Virtuality, which was about combining motion capture with virtual reality to provide users with a large-scale virtual reality system. One of the main motivation behind that initial work was that for a long time, virtual reality experiences were experiences where you were seated in a chair, you had a joystick to move in space, and that of course created motion sickness because of the disconnection between what your eyes are seeing and what your body is actually doing. So as motion capture specialists, we wanted to combine those elements to try to push VR a bit further and try to make something that would be more immersive. If we look at what currently exists on the market, I mean, things have already been evolving quite a lot since the last few years. And if we look at the three main players right now in the, let's say, high-end VR, which are HTC, Sony, or Oculus, they now all have devices that are more or less able to do room scale and that have track controller, which gives you at least some sense of hand presence in the virtual reality, which is quite important. So things are moving in the good direction, but there are still many issues, I would say, with VR today until we can really get to that holodeck that maybe we'll reach one day. One of the main biggest issues still today is the problem of locomotion. And ideally, you would want, while in VR, to be able to explore large spaces, to walk over long distances and so on. And that's something that is currently very complicated to do. There are a few devices that are trying to solve that issue. So Max was presenting Birdly this morning, which is, I think, a nice way of solving that locomotion problem by putting you inside a bird and allowing you to move into large spaces. Other devices like those treadmills and so on are a try at giving you that possibility to go into large spaces, but it's still not really convincing, and there is a lot of work to be done there. So what we were aiming for while developing that project was, so first, to give users freedom of movement in large spaces. Second, and I think almost all the speakers this morning mentioned that, I mean, seeing your body while in VR is something that is very important. So that was also a main focus for us, to give users this illusion of self-embodiment. And also, in order to make the experience a bit more real somehow, we wanted to have some sort of haptic feedback. So being able to touch things while being in virtual reality. And we also wanted our experiences to be social, in the sense that, compared to traditional VR, which are really isolating experiences, we really wanted to have a sort of really social experience where multiple users could go and share something and really get a sense of having achieved something together. And last but not least, we wanted the user setup to be relatively simple so that it could be deployed into spaces and people could go and really use that on a relatively regular basis. So we've been discussing a bit about presence this morning, and there are, to me, I think four very important elements to achieve that presence, which is getting the feeling of, I completely forgot I'm wearing an HMD, I am somewhere else, and I just live the experience of being somewhere else. And there are four elements to that. So the first one is getting what is called place illusion. So it's like you are in a steady world and it reacts the way your head is moving and so on. So you have this self-embodiment, you have some social interaction, and you have some haptic feedback. So in terms of setup, we ended up with a combination of a motion capture system with some equipments on the users. So users are wearing some trackers on their hands, on their feet, on the backpack, and on the headset, which allows us to track their body motion and translate that into an avatar motion. In terms of haptic, because we are still very far from having gloves that would simulate the sensation of touching things and so on, the most obvious thing if you want to sense that you're touching something is to actually put an object in the space and collocate that with the virtual experience. So if you look at the small picture that we have here, so the two users, they are holding a cardboard chest, which is represented in the virtual world as I think it's an Egyptian chest in that case. So yeah, you really have that sensation of grabbing something, of touching something. And this is really an element that is very important to make you believe even more that what you are seeing is real. So I'll show you a first video, if it wants to start. Yeah, okay. This was the first demo that we created, so we collaborate with Kenzan 3D studio in Geneva as well, created the content. So this was about exploring an Egyptian tomb. So you can see that we are two users at the same time. And one very strong moment in those experiences is when you start shaking each other. Because until you do that, you are in a virtual world and you say, okay, this is all a simulation and so on. But then you see this avatar in front of you, and you reach to his hand and you feel his hand, and then your brain is making some kind of connection, and it makes you believe even more that what you see is real. So this is more like of a technology showcase of showing what we are able to achieve with that system. So when you think about it a bit more carefully, so the two users, they are both wearing a virtual reality headset, so they are completely blind. They are holding this virtual torch that is a physical object that is being tracked as well. And you are able to throw it from one to another and actually grab it. So it's, when you think about it, in the latency involved and the processing involved and so on, that's quite a nice achievement. In the same kind of experiences, so 3 doesn't have any purpose other than just showing off somehow. But we are while killing time in the studio, playing tennis with a real racket and a real ball. So it's still, we tried really 2 players, one against another, but then it goes really fast, and then we are still some work to do. But that's the general idea. So now I'd like to present a few experiments that we did with this platform. So one of the early work was, so I'm talking about large spaces, but in the end you are still constrained by a certain space. So this specific demo was trying to, in a limited 5 meter by 5 meter space, try to give the user the impression that he's like really traveling a lot and moving into large spaces. So it was sort of a maze where users were turning and so on in the same physical volume. And this was quite an interesting experience. It's funny to see how, even though you somehow perfectly know that everything is virtual, you are still forced to bend and walk under or avoid the small holes and so on. Or even watch for the gate. And one element that is very interesting about this system is that so we were talking this morning also about fear of height and how powerful VR can be to recreate that. So if we were to do the same experiments, the first one without your body and the second one with your body, the fact of being able to see your feet that are reacting and so on, when you are close to an edge or something like that, that sense of, oh, I'm in danger is much more important than while you are in just a disembodied viewpoint. So second experience, which was something that we presented at the Sundance Film Festival last year.
Welcome to the Real Virtuality
So again, the handshakes and so on. So
Behind
this
energy
experience was
storage,
about trying to. So it's good to have two players in the same environment, but it's even better if they are forced to collaborate and really achieve something together. So it was kind of a, let's say, puzzle games where you had to find physical crystals in the environment to activate a kind of teleportation machine that will allow you to move from space. So the second scene was relatively interesting because you are, so while physically not moving, you are on a platform that is moving and traveling inside the virtual space. So, and user really feels that sensation of moving even though they are completely stuck. And the last part is close to the maze I was showing at the beginning. And what for us was really interesting is that when that part of the game is more about trying to combat your fears, and really you are forced to collaborate with the other one because you are in a kind of scary place and it's very dark and you only have like one source of light, which is the torch. So you have to keep an eye for the other one to make sure that he's following you and that he is not complete in darkness and so on. And it was really funny to see that, from time to time we are just complete strangers that did the experience together. And after having completed that journey somehow, it was really interesting to see how much they had connected while doing that experience. And seeing them afterward discuss and so on about, they had somehow achieved something together and they were no longer strangers and they were, almost friends somehow. So the last, I still have time, experiments I'd like to show. So this is a collaboration we are doing with a choreographer in Geneva, Gilles Jobin. So it's about creating a virtual ballet experience. So putting the spectator on stage with the dancer instead of being just sitting in a chair and looking at the stage. And what's interesting in this is that, if you look at those two completely digital and virtual dancers, the users, when they see a dancer coming at you, they have this reflex to avoid it and try not to get into collision with them. So even though, we are still really far in terms of realism, and there is still a strong uncanny valley thing with those characters, it's still somehow fools you into trust, believing that those are human beings. So I'll quickly discuss about the opportunities of those systems. Obviously there are, and with VR in general, tons of opportunities in very different fields. So if you think about those kind of entertainment experiences, you could have them in theme parks, in museums, or things like that. But there are also a lot of opportunities for more serious application, and I'll be discussing that just after, because I'd like to also talk about an initiative that we have developed, so between a few players in Switzerland, including Max Schreiner here. So I'll just switch to the other presentation. So this initiative is called Virtual Switzerland, so it's financed by the Commission for Technology and Innovation. So it's about creating a network in Switzerland related to VR, AR, and immersive technologies in the large sense, where the goal is to put in connection the academics on one side and the company on the other side, which, I mean, yeah, they don't necessarily have all the knowledge of, let's say, so yeah, VR is supposed to be, I mean, expected to be a big thing, and it will definitely have the potential to revolutionize a lot of different industries and applications. So yeah, for us there are a few challenges. So VR and AR and the simulation of environment for us will really has the potential to transform industrial processes. And what is sure is that Switzerland has always had an history of innovation which resulted in global competitiveness. So I think now is the time to for everyone in Switzerland to adopt a, let's say, proactive position and really try to develop collaboration and foster the development of those kind of technologies. So this network will conduct a certain number of activities. I don't have much time, so I'll just go quickly through it. But the idea is to create some kind of different types of networking events to put Swiss players into collaboration and so that they get to know each other and try to go to do some collaboration and so on through conferences or visit of labs or industries or things like that. Potentially also creating things that are a bit more hands-on, like hackathons around a specific topic, for example. And yeah, the ultimate goal is that things are some things would be moving. There would be a research project between industries and the academia world to really make a push, I would say, to the technology in Switzerland. So this network will be focused on 4 main disciplines, so the medtech sector, the architecture and construction sector, the manufacturing sector, and the tourism and culture environment, where in development and so on will be our concern. And I'll just conclude by quoting the CEO of Microsoft, who said that when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see. So with those new technologies, VR and AR, we strongly believe that there is a potential to really modify and really improve the Switzerland economy and so on, and to get to a better place. So thank you for your attention.